Welcome back to the Becoming Number One podcast, where our goal and mission is to help you become the best version of yourself while we are in our own pursuit, become the best version of ourselves.
Said very well, as always.
Thank you, sir.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I got a little injury going on. I don't know what it is. Felt like I was in prison or something.
Oh, why is that?
Because my ass is killing me.
Interesting. Yeah, I was gonna see if you were gonna bring that up.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It just I woke up and feels like I got a bruise.
So it happened at night. Interesting. Tell us more about that.
I don't know what it was, man.
What kind of activities
I must have got drugged.
were you getting into last night?
I was up on the computer.
The butt hurting kind.
I was up on the computer for a while, and then I worked my way over to the bed. And then once I hit the bed, I fell asleep.
Blacked out.
Just blacked out, yeah.
I guess that's how it happens, doesn't it?
I guess so.
And well, it comes with the territory. I mean, we got a lot that we're shooting for this year.
Yes.
In business, but also in, I guess, overall accolades, a lot of which are fitness related. So I think injuries are going to be pretty common.
I was wondering where you were wrapping this in.
I don't know where some wood is, but, down here, hopefully to a minimum.
Yeah,
right?
I was curious on how you were wrapping that all in, but it makes sense now.
We got a lot we're doing this year.
Yeah.
And I really am hoping we keep injuries to a minimum, because one of the big things for me is I feel like I get sick right around the time where I have an event going on.
Yeah.
Right? So whether it was a powerlifting competition or when I started doing more of these endurance activities, I feel like probably the couple of weeks leading up to this event, because it'd be like 1 or 2 a year, I was like super on edge about getting sick or getting an injury. Sure enough, last year I had an injury.
Yep.
So yeah,
I had 2 of them.
Yeah,
my knees.
Exactly. So we'll see how this year goes.
Yeah, I think that relates perfectly to what we're talking about today.
Does it?
I really do, because what we're talking about is winning starts in your mind.
Huh.
And let's talk about the marathon for a second.
Okay.
Because I was banged up really bad. You were banged up.
Yeah, I wasn't too bad for the marathon.
Okay.
You were dealing with some issues,
I
though.
had 2 busted knees where I could not run. But I told myself I was going to do the marathon.
Yep.
And I said, you will have to kill me before I cross the finish line. And with that being said, I thought that I was going to have to get dragged across the finish line because I could not run. And Aidan got me these straps that I had to put over my knees and basically just cut off circulation for my legs.
Yeah, they were like tendonitis bands, basically.
Yeah. So something, I don't know what it was. It felt like my MCL, but IT band in both of my knees. And leading up to the training, I was dealing with it for months. And then like a week before, the other knee, it started happening in the other knee. So I was dealing with it for a while. But like I said, I told myself, I am not going to quit, for one.
Yeah.
And listen, it's all a mental battle. Because, I mean, you could walk 2 miles? 2 miles. You could. But I know that deep down inside, I could have pushed myself to get through it. And it would have been very easy to give up and make the excuse saying, hey, my knees hurt, man. Like, I can't run. Like, this is only gonna get worse over time if I do this.
You and I experienced the same thing then. For you, it was the marathon. For me, it was my half Ironman. And we both reached a point to where it was nothing more than our minds taking over, because our bodies were ready to give in. And at that point, and I've realized this, and I found it easier and easier to tap into. And we'll talk about this a little bit further into this episode. But I found it easier to tap into the more I do it. And it's just made me realize that we're capable of so much more than we'd ever thought. Because for you, it was, excruciating pain in your knees for, 5 or so hours of continuous running? Yeah, that's a long time to be in excruciating pain. For anybody who's been in chronic pain, that's tough.
Yep.
And for me, it was double quad cramps for more than half of the half Ironman I did. And it would have been so easy for both of us to give up and just say, you know what? It's okay. We'll do it later. We'll come back to this. I just want to give up. I'll rest. I'll prepare again, whatever. But no, we didn't do that.
Yep. Cross the finish line. But it all starts up here.
It does.
And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Because the way that you look, like your lens of life is ultimately going to determine the life that you live, right? Mm-hmm. The reality of that you're playing to yourself in your mind, your mindset. It's a foundation if you have a business, if you just work a job, whatever it is, in fitness, it all starts within your mind. And, there's a few common things that people say, right? I don't have the confidence to do it. I just don't got it. That's a common one. I just don't have it. I don't have it in me.
Yeah.
Or I need to feel motivated to do it. You don't. But look at those things that we tell ourselves. We're programming our mind in a certain way where now that the outlook on our life, that's how it's going to shape up. Which is at the end of the day, it's only derailing your success.
You saying that just keeps bringing me back to what I heard Tony Robbins say a couple of weeks ago, and it's been on my mind ever since, but our focus is truly our reality.
Yeah.
And like you said, if your mindset is that you need this extra motivation to be able to push through, that you weren't born with it, so you just don't got that mental fortitude. If you keep putting these negative thoughts in your mind, then of course that's going to be what your reality is. Yep. Right? And just because you start thinking happy and positive thoughts, does that mean your life is going to get sunshines and rainbows instantly? No. But it's the start of the process, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the things that we've continued to tell ourselves. And although it doesn't fulfill itself right away, eventually it does.
Absolutely.
That we can do anything we set our minds to.
110%. Because at the end of the day, the mindset that you have to develop to win at a high level, and that's what we're talking about today, to win, you have to be able to develop it over time. It's a muscle. So you can't buy it.
No.
Right? You can't fake it.
No.
You have to build it. Just the same way as if you were in the gym and you wanted bigger arms, you have to train it. I can't give that to you, right? So outside of the cars, all the shit you see on social media, right? The fake tits or the surgery, up here, you have to earn that, and it comes with a constant battle of constant improvement of you putting yourself through difficult situations or things that are going to strain it,
yeah,
right? To be able to build it back up.
Yeah, no, and I think you said that perfectly, and that's exactly what it is, right? People are going to ask, how do I get that mindset, right? How do I train it? And it's by putting yourself in difficult situations time and time again to where you find your mind telling you, I just want to give up. I just want to give up. If you start hearing that voice nagging at your head, you're in the right spot.
Absolutely.
That is your arena to grow.
Yeah, that's where you want to train in. You want to be there. And I know I could vouch for you on this. We purposely put ourselves in those situations.
Just as, like you said, anybody who wants to get bigger or more athletic purposely puts themselves in the gym.
Yep.
Or purposely goes out and runs.
Yep.
It's the same thing, right? If you want to train this muscle, it doesn't mean you're sadistic. It means that you're purposely putting yourself in the grounds, the arena, the facility to train it.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you can do a twofer, right? For us, running really itches and trains that muscle, right? Because running is something we both hate. It's something that is really difficult, and it's something that we constantly find ourselves telling, "Hey, just take it a little easy.
Yep.
Slow down. Maybe you cut it short today," right? Those are the things that our minds start telling us when we're doing that.
Yeah. There's a rule of thumb that I go by. There's this voice in your head, right? Let's say I'm at the gym and I'm doing 10 sets of curls. And I have this voice in my mind that says, do 15. Then I do the 15. But then when that voice starts going, do 100, something crazy.
Yeah.
I listen to that first thought that comes into my mind. And just like anything else, any skill that you have to constantly work on it all the time. Otherwise, it's going to go away.
Yep.
It's going to get very, very dull, right? And you have to sharpen it over and over and over again. So let's talk about the difference in the mindset of a winner and what a loser is. A loser mindset and a winner mindset. And the best example that I could give is a fixed mindset and then a growth mindset.
Mm-hmm. Right?
So a fixed mindset, hey, I mean, those are your thoughts that you've always held on to. You're not open-minded. You're not willing to grow. You're essentially just stuck in the same loop over and over.
We all know it as people who say it's just the way it is.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
This situation is just the way it is. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
Versus somebody who looks for any way out of that situation or any way to change that situation. Yep. Right? For me, curiosity goes into that a lot. Right? I think a curious person is a successful person.
Absolutely.
Right? Because they're always looking for something new. They're always looking for something different. They're always learning. They're always growing.
Yep.
So, and it really can just come down to that, fixed versus growth.
Yeah, 100%.
We've talked about this before, right?
Yeah, we certainly have. And the next one, this one drives me crazy. I can't stand it. But winners focus on solutions, and then losers, I mean, they just fall to their excuses, right? And the best example that I could give to this, I might get in trouble for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyways, is females. Because females, they come to you with problems, right? And it's like, oh, do this. Oh, that's easy. Here, do this, do that, right? And then it's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like, well, here is a solution to the problem to get it fixed. So you don't have to worry about it anymore.
I'll caveat, as my wife is in the other room listening to this, right? But and what I've come
said it. It was me.
Yeah, it was. I said it. It was him. What I've come to found is because I've gotten, I don't want to say in trouble, but I've gotten brought to the other perspective on this, right? Because I think it's not common in all guys, right? Some women do this too, but it's a problem-solving centered mindset, right? For every
it's a primal mindset.
For every issue, there's a solution. That's where our mind goes. And yes, oftentimes, sometimes you don't got to solve a problem. Sometimes you can just, what's the right word? See, I'm not used to this.
Yes.
The right word, what is it? Sometimes you just support.
Yes, listen, this isn't about females. It's about the idea of, hey, here's a solution to the problems when a loser mindset is just being stuck on the problem and having the excuse for the problem. It's not about the women. It was just an example of, hey, here's the solutions to do it, right? And then on the flip side, the other people, they had the mindset of, hey, here's a problem. Oh, feel bad for me, this, that, and the third.
But this happens with a lot of people. And for me, I saw this a lot when I was in college, is people who are in a situation that is not desirable, right? It's not where they want to be. And yet you see them not do anything about it, right? They just sit there stuck.
Yep.
And we talked about this last week. It's because they're unwilling to take action, but it's because they think that, oh, this is just the way it is. I'm dealt this card. The world is out to get me. I'm disadvantaged. This is just the way it is. As opposed to realizing that there are people who have been in far worse situations who have gotten out of much worse, right? And it's all because they had a different mindset. The mindset that I don't need to be stuck here. I don't need to be in this situation. I have the power to do something about it.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, guys, you could look at a super successful person and you could look at the person that's on the very bottom. They just think differently. There's no bigger advantage than what's in their mind.
Yes.
Because if that person at the very bottom changed their inputs, right, what goes into their mind, their outputs should change, which is going to elevate them. And that's honestly, it's the number one thing that we all have to do, because it all starts up here. It's I could say that a million times, but when I look back over the last, I don't know, what am I, 24 now? When I look back over the last 6 years, the first couple of years when I wasn't doing anything, my mind was terrible. I didn't put positive things in my mind. I didn't put things that I could grow. I didn't put stress on my mind to make it be able to grow. And the results that I produced were very minimal. But now, fast forward when I understand that, hey, this is it right here. I have to get this down before I can go out and create and do the things that I want to do. Well, everything started to change.
Truly, at the end of the day, and once again, we can bang the same drum that it all starts in here, but your mind, and therefore your mindset, is either going to be your biggest advantage in life or your worst enemy. For a majority of people, I think it is their worst enemy.
It is.
And I think if you speak to any of the most successful people in the world, anybody who's found success, they'll attribute it to this.
Absolutely.
Right? So, and one of the other things we want to talk about is self-talk and that internal programming. And for me, I think running is just such an easy example because I can, as David knows and as most people know, I got the memory of a goldfish.
Oh, it's so bad.
But there is this reel just playing in my mind over and over and over again of being on a long run and probably, let's say it's a 10-mile run. At mile 6, 7, my mind is already thinking, maybe we don't do 10 today. You know, maybe we can just do 8 or 9, right? It's not always good to push it super hard. Maybe we just take it back a little bit. We're still going far. We just don't have to go that far. That's the type of shit my mind says to itself. And then when I get just past that precipice, I start talking to myself out loud. And I get kind of vulgar. I say, Aidan, you're not a bitch.
Yeah.
And I say things like that. It's vulgar, but it's what gets me going just enough to have this like sinister smile on my face, have a little laugh, and push through. But that's what I have to do. That's my self-talk.
Yep, absolutely.
I start works in those situations.
Shit to myself.
Yeah.
I mean, Aidan's ran past me. He's heard me.
Yeah.
I'm laughing and I'm like, I got you, fucker. And again, that's what I have to do to overcome that voice. And because it's in all of our heads. All of us.
We all have that little devil in our mind saying the limiting beliefs, right? That's absolutely what it is.
And that will never go away, by the way.
No.
It will always be there. But what will change is how you're able to control it, how you're able to talk back to it and mute it. That's what will change over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some things that people can do every single day to strengthen their mind? I think that's the question.
I think...
Because now we know, hey, it all starts up here.
It's a muscle.
It is a muscle.
Needs to be trained.
How do we grow it?
I think just like what you said earlier, this is a muscle that is solely trained in the difficulties, right? It's a muscle that gets its best strain in a good way when you're in the most strain, right? It can be, and I guess what it comes down to is how do you force these difficult situations? Physical activity is an easy one, right? Because granted, if you're at work or you own your own business, or even in your relationships, it's hard to force difficult situations. They kind of just happen.
Yeah.
So I without really diving too deep, sitting here silent thinking about it, I think physical activity.
100%, without a doubt. But to what you just said there in the workplace, that difficult situations just happen, right? Yeah. But what most people do is they run.
Yeah.
They run from them. They go on their phone or they, step away.
Avoid a conversation.
They avoid it. And I think if you can recognize that, hey, this is going to be a difficult situation. I typically would curl up, but now I have to attack it head on. Even if you don't get the result that you want to, pushing through that, hey, at least you push through it. And now, hey, next time it happens, you might get 5% farther. Then it happens again. You're 20% farther, right? So chasing difficult situations.
Yeah.
And not being afraid of them.
Yeah.
Not being afraid of them. I think another one, what people can do is, you said physical exercise. We talked about chasing difficult situations, but we have to realize what we're putting in our mind as well. Because if we're just putting a whole bunch of bad stuff in it over and over again, well, we're only feeding that beast, right? Yep. We're feeding that beast. So now we have to go and we have to put in new, positive thoughts.
Yep.
That are going to strengthen our mind. And that could be book, podcast, YouTube video, right? Whatever it is, something that's going to be beneficial to your mind to get you new information. So when those things do arise, hey, you're prepared for it.
I've never really understood the appeal of affirmation books. But thinking and talking about it now, I realize how vital they are.
Yeah.
And why the people who are so passionate about them. And it's because it puts them in a positive space mentally, right? And I think, like you said, podcast books are good, but that's why there's people who are so successful on social media who all they do is scream at the camera, telling you that you can do whatever you want, that you're a badass, that you can achieve anything you put your mind to. And it's because there's value in somebody doing that to you.
Absolutely.
Right? It's the value of a positive headspace.
100%.
So I love that.
Yep.
Find every opportunity you can to put yourself in a positive headspace.
Yep.
Like you said, it can be listening to people scream at you, telling you that you're amazing. It can be reading affirmation books. It can be reading religious books, if that puts you in a good mindset. Podcasts, YouTube, whatever Absolutely. It is, like you said.
Yep, I agree. And then just do something uncomfortable, right? We're all running from something. We are. We're avoiding something that we know we should be doing, but we're not doing. And if we just do that thing, our mind's going to get stronger. And then we're going to stop avoiding the things that we're supposed to do, which are ultimately going to get us to where we want to go. Because at the end of the day, we have to stop avoiding the work that we should be doing that's going to get us to the place where we need to be.
And there's a really wonderful side effect that comes with that. And I want to dedicate a whole episode to why, and I think we've done this before, but it's been on my mind lately, about being selfish in order to be selfless. But what you just said, everybody has somebody or something that they're avoiding. Could be huge, it could be small, but everybody avoids things in their lives. And if we just were cognizant of that and hit them head on, I think there's this weight that gets lifted off our shoulders, because with avoidance comes stress, right? It's the stress of, oh my goodness, what if I have to confront this? And stress is a negative thing, right? For the most part. So if you start taking this proactive mindset of tackling the things you're avoiding, I think all of a sudden you're going to feel lighter in life, which I have this, as I talk about this and think about this, I almost get excited in my mind, because I think about how wonderful it feels to not have unnecessary stress on your shoulders. So all these things we talk about they're all interconnected, and they all have these like runoff side effects that are amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, your mind is either going to be your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. So you have to decide which one is going to be for you. Because a great mind set is going to get you everything that you want in your life.
And more.
And more.
Because once again, your focus and your mindset is your reality.
Yeah.
It'll be the lens through which you experience everything. So, are you going to let it be negatively oriented or positively oriented? Are you going to let it be a fixed mindset that stays stagnant and eventually is going to be back in the ice age? Or is it going to be something that's going to continue to grow and learn and expand?
Absolutely. Guys, it's time to get back in the fucking trenches. It really is. It's time to get back and get our hands dirty and get to the work. Time to go dark. It is, because there's a lot of stuff that needs to get done. There's a lot of things that you need to do with your life, and why wait a minute longer? For what? For a couple extra reels on your phone? For some instant gratification, some instant dopamine? Right? Is a version of yourself in 5 years from now that has everything you want, would that person be doing that? No. You gotta go dark.
No, and like you just said, the quicker that you can take action upon your thoughts, the quicker your life is going to get better, right? Listening to this and thinking, oh yeah, that sounds really great, and then putting your phone down and resuming the life that you've always lived, that's not going to do you any good.
Yeah.
Change can happen literally instantaneously. All it takes is the choice to do so.
Absolutely.
But before we round this out, I'm reading this and like what I'm seeing here. David put together some notes.
Did.
Like we said, we're getting a little bit more organized and professional with this.
I like freestyling this stuff,
but
to be honest.
You wrote here some ways to strengthen our mindset, but daily things, right? We already talked about putting yourself in a positive mindset. We talked about intentionally doing difficult things and putting yourself in situations where you start getting that negative self-talk so that you can fight against it. But you have some things in here. The 0 days rule. You remember what that means?
Yeah.
What is it?
The 0 day rule. You're not going tomorrow. You're not going the next day. You're not going to do it the day after that. Because we all get caught up in the sense of, hey, I'll just do it tomorrow. Right? Or, hey, my project's due next week. I'll start on Wednesday. No, you do it today. You do it right now.
You do it right now, and if you can continue to do that and you can continue to stack these wins, I consider if your mind's telling you to put something off and you say, F that, I'm going to do it right now, that's a win. And if you can continue to stack that every single day, a couple of wins go very far.
Yeah.
And if you can go 0 days without a gap of not winning, right? If you can have a win every single day, you're going to build this fucking ginormous snowball of momentum.
Yeah, because we create momentum, right? It's all created. Think of every time in your life where you had a wind of momentum. It's because you were doing certain things, you were acting a certain way, which led to that momentum, right? And life's great when we have momentum, but it's the inputs that you get, or that you do, that get the outputs that create the momentum.
I agree. And one with this, some daily non-negotiables. I'm huge on having a checklist of things that you do every day that get you closer and closer to your goals. That's what works for me. So some daily non-negotiables. Move your body.
Yeah.
Right? I wholeheartedly believe that we begin to die as people the second that we get stagnant.
Yep.
Right? So movement is, I think, totally vital to life.
Absolutely. Strengthen your body, your mind will strengthen.
Control your self-talk.
Yep.
Every single day, your mind is talking to itself. For some people, it never turns off. So control it as much as you can. And that might not be telling it to turn off. What it would be is talking back to it.
Absolutely.
Fighting back.
You have to be very intentional with that, by the way.
Yeah.
You have to be we think, I don't know, some crazy number of how many thoughts we think a day. If you can realize, hey, that's a bad thought that I just had, and replace it with a good thought, you do that today, right? The negative thoughts still keep coming. You keep replacing them over time. It'll be like clockwork. It'll be so easy for you to do.
I agree. The next is do something uncomfortable.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be cold plunging every day. I know that's not everybody's forte, but ending your shower with a couple of minutes of cold water, having an uncomfortable conversation, calling somebody that you've been putting off, whatever it is, I'm sure that we can all find something uncomfortable to do at least once daily.
Yep, absolutely. And that goes back to the thing, what are you avoiding right now?
What are you avoiding right now?
And that's the thing that you should do. That's the uncomfortable thing that you should do.
And finally, to invest in yourself. So many people have said it, the greatest investment you'll ever make is in yourself. So start now.
Yep.
And it can be with your health. It can be as simple as starting to walk or starting to do resistance training, eating healthier. It can be strengthening your mind by putting yourself in difficult situations. Reading, huge favorite of mine. Listening to podcasts, listening to informational YouTube videos.
A mentor.
Whatever it is, invest in yourself.
Yep, 100%. Learn something new.
If you can do that, learn something new. If you can learn one new thing every day, I think you're going to be miles ahead of people.
100%.
Because once again, it's that small little step every day. If you do it every day, that gets you so far ahead of other people. Because most people, the way it goes is they'll sprint. They'll sprint super hard and they'll get pretty far and then they stop. And they stop for long amounts of time. And yet you just got the person who's taken one step every single day and they never stop. That person is dangerous.
Yeah. There's two reasons why you're not where you want to be. One, you lack the ambition to take the action to do it, or two, you don't have the information to do it. Okay? So if we don't have the information to do it, we need to feed our mind with the information that's going to get us there. And then on the flip side, if you don't have the ambition to do it, that's going to lack you from taking the action. And then if you're not taking action, you're never going to get there anyways. So don't be the person that lacks ambition. Be the person that feeds their mind with the information that can help them get to the place that they want to go.
Well, guys.
Oh, before we end, I want to say this quick because this is important.
Hit it.
You got to remember who you are, right? At one point in time in your life, you had this fire burning underneath your ass that you wanted to go to where you wanted to get. And you lost that. You lost the fire. The version of you that would do the work, that would do the things necessary, that would strengthen their mind, you got to get back to that. And remember who you are. That's what I have to say.
I think that's huge. Well, before we end things off, we did post our last episode on YouTube. So whether you sit and listen to the whole thing, at least go give it a view.
Yes.
Right? Even if you're just watching a handful of minutes of it, please drop a subscribe, a follow where you can, a like, comment, whatever it is. We would love to see even just a little bit of engagement. It goes a long ways. And we appreciate you guys listening to this. And we do hope that it touches you and that you're able to take this and take action, because we know that you'll live a better life because of it.